and a very warm welcome to you. It's my pleasure to welcome you to another edition of Editors Forum. I am Rita, omodia. And of course, on this program, we get to discuss topical issues, front burners in the court during the week. And of course, I'll not be alone on today's edition of the show. I have with me Emeka Madinago. He's the publisher of Metro Star newspapers. Thank you very much for joining us on the show.
Thank you very much.
He has been quite absent for a while due to sad circumstances, and of course, we sympathize with your family.
Thank you very much.
It is well, as they would say. All right, we also have with us Dr. Dayo Kade. He's a political technocrat, and of course, he's written a lot of columns in different newspapers and magazines. Thank you very much for joining us.
It's my pleasure being here, Rita.
Thank you very much. All right, let's kickstart today's business. We know last week we dealt with the NDDC, that is the Niger Delta Development Commission probe, and there were a lot of allegations, corruption, financial misappropriations, and we also know of the embattled acting chairman of the EFCC, that is the person of Ibrahim Magu. But due to recent updates, we'll also be discussing this week, as we know that Ibrahim Magu has been released from detention 10 days after his detention has been released. And there's, of course, lots of controversies on Nigerians asking if this is not just another case by the side, and the next thing we'll have him, as the lawyer said, reinstated. So a lot of Nigerians are asking questions on this. And of course, on the Niger Delta Development Commission probe, there are lots of revelations, even from the former NDDC boss that is joining here, who talked about a lot of misappropriations. They're actually speaking out, and we know that during the week also, would we say there's a bit of the tension in the house, and we know that River State Governor Nyesom Wike actually helped her out, and she was able to come before the House of Representatives. So we see lots of revelations, lots of things coming out on the terms of corruption, and we know that the mantra of this federal government, that the Buhari-led administration, is to fight corruption. Corruption fighting back, corruption revealing itself, and we're seeing a headway in the country. Also during the week, the Senate proposed, sought to seek for an age review for employment, that's recruitment, that instead of having a higher number of age for recruitment, let's reduce the age so that we can have more people being employed into ministries and agencies of the federal government. Also on the sad note, during this week, we also saw the loss of Tolulokwe Arotile. That was a well-known flying officer, and the controversy surrounding her death has been quite alarming, as lots of people are still calling for probe and investigations concerning the death of this young flying officer. So let's kickstart today's business. Still on the update, we're talking coronavirus NCDC update. As of 17th July, 11:48 p.m., we have 600 new cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria. Now, Lagos had 129, the FCT had 118, Oyo State 87, Kano 55 cases, Benue 42, Enugu 35, Kwara 28, Imo State recorded 16 cases, Ogun State 13, Kaduna 12, Ondo 12, Delta State 11 cases, Edo 11, Plateau 8 cases, Nasarawa 6, Ekiti 6 cases, Niger 6 cases, Borno 4, Abia 4 cases, and Gombe had 3 cases. So in total, number of confirmed cases, we have 35,454 confirmed cases, and number of those that have been discharged is 14,633, and the number of deaths is fast rising. We have 772 deaths. So with this, we still once again want to reinstate that you continue to maintain good personal hygiene and make use of all the precautionary measures given to you by the NCDC and the WHO. Make use of your face mask, and of course, if you're not with soap and water to wash your hand, make use of alcohol-based hand sanitizers. All right, now let's start with the EFCC boss, rather former acting EFCC boss, that's Ibrahim Magu, who has been released from detention. That is suspended acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has been released from police custody after 10 days of his detention. Now, according to a monitored report, this was confirmed by his lawyer, Tosin Ojalmo, who said that the EFCC boss is no longer under custody. Now, the suspended EFCC boss was invited by the Presidential Probe Panel, headed by Ayo Salami, a retired president of the Appeal Court, to the Presidential Villa in Abuja on July 6th over allegations bordering on corruption and financial misconduct. And earlier on, the Inspector General of Police, that is Mohammed Adamu, has asked Magu to direct his bail application to the Presidential Probe Panel. So now we're seeing a new light to this story now. The acting, or rather the former acting EFCC boss Ibrahim Magu has now been released from detention, and there are speculations that there's a bit of shifting the case by the corner, and then we'll have him reinstated, someone who has already been charged with so much financial appropriation. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, for me, I would look at it that there are a lot of interesting things playing out in the Magu matter, but I would like to find out, what are the powers of the Justice Salami panel in the light of the ruling of the Supreme Court, January 31, 2002, which was instituted by General Ibrahim Babangida, the former, head of state, against the Oputa panel. If we take our minds back to that, the Supreme Court said that the panel of inquiry cannot substitute the functions of a regular court, of a properly constituted court. And if we remember, when the Justice Mimereji Commission in Rivers State, which was instituted by Governor Nyesom Wike, set up a panel, the Justice Mimereji Commission, and it invited Amechi, the former governor, and Amechi said he wouldn't appear before the commission. We've had commissioners, Fayoshe, when he was governor, he raised the panel too, and Fayemi said he wouldn't attend, he wouldn't appear before the panel. So when you cast your mind back to that Supreme Court decision, on, there's the Panels of Inquiries Act, on which President Obasanjo at the time based, as the reason for setting up the Oputa panel. But I now ask a question. Since the Supreme Court has invalidated the functionality of panels, and saying they cannot take over the job of regular courts, then I now wonder what is going on. If there are allegations against Magu, who is occupying a position which is established by law, the proper procedure should be followed. Of course, he's a public officer. The proper procedure is that he will be suspended and then put on trial. And if he is able to successfully defend himself against the allegations, then he's reinstated. Otherwise, the law will take its course.
Now, when you're talking about put on trial, does it exclude detention?
The law says that you cannot detain anybody beyond 48 hours.
Okay.
And then the person and accused is entitled to bail, unless otherwise decided by a properly constituted court. In the case of maybe like murder cases, when you start first at the magistrate court level, the magistrate court cannot grant bail in a murder case, so you have to go to a high court to ask for bail. But in the case of detaining him for 10 days, and then you find agencies of government shifting blame, then you now wonder why people who should implement the law are the ones circumventing due process. I mean, Magu is not any different from other public officers who have been arraigned before the court. If you remember, under Obasanjo, the IGP, Tafa Balogun, this case, if you remember Wabara, if you remember Osuji, who was the Minister of Education, if you cast your mind back, there have been such matters, even under Jonathan, under Yaradua, there have been such matters. So the due process should be followed. How do you handle a public officer? But in this case, they have ended up glamorizing Magu, turning him to a victim. And they've also befuddled Nigerians, muddled, because we don't even know the reason why, first of all, Magu was arrested and taken to the presidency. Secondly, why he was even brought before the panel. Now the man came out to say that he has not even been appearing before the panel, that all the things reported in the media are strange to him. Now, whom do we believe? Whom do we believe? And it should not be like that, which is, we've said it again and again, that one of the problems of this administration is a lack of management, strategic management of public information. The kind of things that go out to the public, they don't manage them well. So at the end of the day, You find agencies of government trying to deny things, and it is not tidy. There are rules guiding public administration in every country, and we must adhere to the rules.
Okay, now you're saying that they have failed to observe due process, federal government and relevant agencies. Do you feel that this was actually a plan to witch hunt Brian Magu, according to speculations?
Well, unfortunately, that is what it has turned out to be. A witch hunt rather than the due process of investigating alleged malpractices by a public officer. Don't forget, cast your mind back to 2017, there was a DSS report, an SSS report, that declared that Magu was unfit to occupy that office. The whole thing was politicized. Why? It should have been investigated. It should have been looked into. But you let the man to remain in acting capacity for 5 years. That's a scandal. Where do you keep the head of such a crucial, such a vital agency in acting capacity for 5 years? I don't know. There may be precedents which I don't remember, but it's embarrassing. Because in a democracy, if the person is not fit after a year or two, then you replace the person. I mean, there's no Jonathan tried it to the Maute. But what happened at the end of the day? Who lost out? Who lost out? So the thing is this: we should strive to build strong institutions. We shouldn't be talking of Magu as if he is the EFCC. He himself has said it. The presidency, in the statement by Garba Shehu, also said that EFCC is an institution. Okay, if you believe that EFCC is an institution, why are you now making Magu to be more important than the institution in a properly functioning democracy? What should happen is already written in the laws of the land. You bring Magu, you subject Magu to the proper process. Now, the first thing is that from the beginning, everything about the Magu case has been on the wrong path. The man has been allowed to act for 5 years, which is wrong. Totally wrong. Totally wrong. It's not fair to him, because if he could be found useful in another area, you take it to another area. But the issue is this: has he been growing career-wise? Can he be said, if there is a serious court matter now that also has to do with constitutional interpretation, can you say that Magu has been occupying that office in a proper manner before the law? Can you say that? Can you say that his actions can actually be held up? Because first of all, for the reason that he has not been confirmed for 5 years, puts a question on his capability to occupy that office, and which is not fair to him. And it's not fair to Nigeria, because public funds are being used to pay him to run his office, to run the commission. So the proper thing to do right now is this: government should stop this theatrics. If you are not satisfied with Magu, please send the man back to the police. Let him be redeployed somewhere else, where he can be found to be useful, and then put somebody and then do the process. I said it that time. I said, do the process of lobbying the National Assembly. You don't just throw somebody at the National Assembly and then you now employ people to go on social media and be insulting people, calling people names. No. Follow the due process. You lobby the National Assembly. Before you present somebody, you lobby the National Assembly. You talk to them. You do all the necessary things so that when he or she is appearing before relevant committees and before the committee of the whole house, you will find out that the process of scrutiny will flow smoothly according to the law. Or put too many sentiments into things.
Okay, thank you very much, Emeka. He has talked about the absence of due process in this Magu's trial. Of course, you know that you can be a part of this program by sending in your messages only, please, or you can send through WhatsApp on 0814-658-8756. Again, 0814-658-8756, please, and messages only for your contributions. Now, Emeka talked rightly about absence of due process, following the law. He also talked about the fact that even this so-called Magu and the rest was actually in acting capacity for about 5 years, which also puts a question on his capabilities for the position. We're seeing his release, seeing the fact that he's even coming out to say that he's not even aware of this allegations that have been put forward before him. Dio Cowdy, what's your take?
Let me first of all empathize with my friend.
When you use the word empathize.
Yes, because I could see that he was so angry that they could take Magu to a panel of which he wouldn't even know what the outcome of that panel will be. Yes.
Is it enforceable?
Listen, I've already empathized with you. I know that you are angry, but please don't be angry. Don't let your blood pressure rise unnecessarily, because this is a planned season film. It is nothing. It is not corruption fighting corruption now.
At the expense of people.
It is corruption, exposing corruption. This government came in on a mantra of sincerity. Some people that are not corrupt and all that. But I was telling everybody that I said, look, in this country, there is no more virgin in the labor room. The Buhari we were talking about, at least I've grown in 1978-79 to know what happened.
You can see your white hair.
During the Mourinho Gate. You are aware of Mourinho Gate. Don't let us open that one now. Everything that were also said in the papers when he was in PTF. This is a man that said, what's his name? Our former Abacha was not corrupt, but Abacha is the only assessor Nigeria has that always send us money from the grave. And you are saying it's not corrupt. Now see what is happening. Look at when Bukola Saraki was the president of the 8th Senate. Yes. Look at what that guy said. He said, see, we have investigated everything about this guy. He cannot occupy this position. DSS also came up with their own report on him. What did he do? At that time, some of us were saying, look here, man, you can't keep this guy here. Senate has rejected him how many times? And he has spent how many years? You are still putting him there in an acting capacity. Are you now saying there is no other person that can occupy that position? That has the capacity to occupy that position? But look at what we are now saying. Look at the international community. I don't know whether you read that report during the week. They say, do you know that because of this Magu, that will call you and say, yes, you are an epitome of corruption fighting in Africa. But those things are crumbled. So my brother, let me tell you, as is, nothing is going to, if I were the president, by now, even the Attorney General of the Federation will not be there again. By now. Because a witty allegation was also brought up. Alright? Unlike the other person, that each time they challenge him, they bring all these corrupt allegations to him, he will quickly run to his lawyer, and then the lawyer will be firing letters. All these people are not supposed to be there. They are not supposed to be there. I can bet you, now that they have released Magu, probably there are some things that Magu is aware of, and along the line, power tussle had been happening, and he was ready to spill beans, and say, oh boy. Then they now decide to use that. Look at what this guy did in NDDC, the minister of
we'll get back to that.
Whatever. Yeah. He first of all bullied Kayama out of that place. Abi? Is it not right? He bullied Kayama out of that place because he knew that guy is a youthful whatever, that he might not allow him to do all that. So the same thing peradventure is, I'm not saying Magu is not corrupt. We have seen reels of allegations against him, reels of whatever they came up with against him and all that. But then, why have you allowed him up to this point? When the DSS submitted is this in years back?
17 years.
Years back. And you are sitting on it and you are looking. Why? So it is corruption that is now fighting corruption that we are seeing. And that's why I said, don't just allow yourself to be unnecessarily because it's season film.
No, my point
that is
this.
playing
My
out.
point is
Okay.
this. My point is this. Why do you expend so much energy and time towards an outcome that is not likely to be enforced?
Because they are trying to cover themselves up.
The man will just simply go.
Before you know it, it will come up again.
Man will just simply go to court and rubbish whatever findings of the panel that are against him, because one is not a proper.
Will his own be the first one? Will your own be the first one? It's not only the first one.
You have quoted his administration and all that. Now, can we say that probably the administration is trying to redeem itself now that we know that 12 directors of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission have also been suspended by President Muhammadu Buhari to allow for thorough investigation?
Is it today they have been doing it? There is no way. See, I still don't know how this administration is going to wash itself clean from all these corrupt practices. I just see them as agglomeration of corrupt people. The way it is now, because before you know it, there was a time they were talking about trader money issue. There was time they were talking about school feeding, cash transfer, series of on the vice president. This same issue thing now, one way or the other, there's no smoke without fire. There was a smoke that came up and that blew towards the same vice president. There's another smoke now that had blown towards the Attorney General of the Federation. Another one to Accountant General. I don't know. I mean, series of. So how do they want to look at them? Look at Malami now. Look at Malami, who is also SAN. Before property seized are being sold, it is just for you to give the procedure and processes to the secretary of EFCC, not even chairman, to the secretary of EFCC, who is to now undertake the auction. You now went there too, and then it is written there that whoever flouts that thing will go to jail for 5 years without option. So where is Malami supposed to be now? Because he himself said it, that he sold those things. Where is he supposed to be now as we are talking? So tell me, is it not corruption, exposing corruption? We are just coming. We will see more.
Okay, all right. We'll still have messages from people here concerning this topic here. And of course, we have another message. I said, can EFCC and NDDC be dissolved? The two sectors have contributed a lot to corruption. Thanks, Stephen from Yenugwa. Can they even scrap them? Be dissolved totally. NDDC.
Then let them go to Olasoye. Let them go to Olasoye report.
Okay.
No. Okay, fine.
Let them go to Olasoye report.
Now that should have been scrapped. Before Dora Akunyili came and gave NAFDAC the international face, make NAFDAC, an agency worthy of emulation. So it's not about scrapping them. If you scrap them, so long as it's Nigerians, you're still going to put in whatever agency that will succeed them. The fact of the matter is this: let's try to build institutions. Dora Akunyili has left. May her soul rest in peace. But now that today is an agency to be reckoned with. That is the kind of thing we want.
All right, good afternoon all. Magu being released when investigation is still ongoing is as good as corruption. I smell rat in the investigation. That's John Anoro from Lagos. Smelling a rat in the investigation. Okay, my name is Sammy Charles. The Magu case is a matter of dog eats dog. But it should not be at the expense of the institution. Exactly. Whatever fight that they're having should not be at the expense of we Nigerians.
So was Bible speaking literally or metaphorically when he said dog eats dog?
Yes, now.
Okay, let's see. This is another one now. The present administration has failed Nigerians. They have nothing to offer. Magu, of all people, has been disgraced, but what a shame to the face of the world. That is Gideon Stephen from Plateau State. Okay, please send messages only. Please just messages. Okay, hi Galaxy. Greetings to the erudite analysts in the studio. My name is Phil Arebamen. I hope I got from Ajao Estate. Succinctly put, I complete concur with submission of the man in white. Buhari's fight against corruption is a hoax. Thank you very much for your contribution. We're still talking about corruption allegations there. Please send only messages. Now we also talk about the NDDC probe. That's another one that's been on the front burner. In fact, it happened last week and this week it continued. And we see the former NDDC boss, that is Joy Nunue, really revealing lots of things to us. Let's take a look at that clip and we'll be right back.
I came when himself and Festus Keyamo were ministers. Their first meeting at the commission,
disrupted.
he was awarded 30 contracts for distilling and water hyacinth. Mr. Linus, who was the director finance, refused to sign because it did not follow due process. He also said that I should implicate the chairman of the House Committee, because the chairman of the House Committee had gone to Ondo State for a meeting to plan against him.
All of them, even the people have been here. It doesn't matter. Okay, can you believe? Can you know this? A lady. What kind of society? What kind of society are we in? Can't you invite her to the police? That you come and all of you come. Can you invite her to the police station? I don't know. Excellency, ask them for their arrest warrant. Yes, out. Arrest warrant.
Early this morning, about 4 o'clock, I hear people were around my gate. I made some calls. I tried to reach the governor. Because he had told me that if I saw any strange movements, I should alert him since he issued the statement. So I tried to reach him, the phones were off, and then so I called some people. They said they might not be real policemen, so I should stay. They said they came to take me away. I said, for what? Do they have a warrant of arrest? They said no warrant of arrest. So I left it. About 6 o'clock, they broke the gate. And later, Senator Magnus Abe now called me that he had reached the Commissioner of Police, who said he didn't know anything about it. But I want to thank His Excellency for keeping to his word that nothing should happen to the daughter of Rivers State. So here I am in the government house, and that's all. I was supposed to be going today to Abuja to make my submission before the House of Representatives, the committee. I'm sure it's about that. Meanwhile, the man that harassed me is at home. The man who stole the money is at home. The man who stole government files is at home. The man who took money is at home. The man who said I should go and take an oath is at home. It's a criminal offense. It's life imprisonment.
Alright, you're welcome back. You're still on to Editors Forum exclusive to Galaxy Television. I don't want to borrow the words of Dr. Diana. He called it a season theme now. Well, looking at the actors here, and which of course is the NDDC chairman, we have Akpabio in the movie, let's call it like that.
Yes.
We have joining away, of course, the former NDDC boss. We know that she actually accused Akpabio of lots of misappropriation of public funds. And we saw in that clip that there was a bit of like a detention against her, but luckily she was released from that detention. And we know that finally she appeared before the panel via Zoom, and she gave them their own update, her own side of the story. Now, she explained that she only spent 8 billion naira throughout her tenure, which was from October 29, 2019 to February 17, 2020. Now, in another light to this, now still on the investigation of the panel there, the head of the Interim Management Committee, IMC, and Managing Director of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, Professor Daniel Kemeponde, has declared that Honorable Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo must recuse himself as the chair of the House of Representatives Committee on Niger Delta for them to make their presentation. He said, or rather he accused the man of having various infractions in many contracts of the NDC, and therefore on the revenge mission with the investigation. Now, the House Committee met over the financial recklessness to the tune of over 81 billion naira of the Niger Delta Development Commission. And if we look at the Niger Delta area, we can really say that there's been no development in that area with so much natural resource. Now, we're talking about gold mining there, and we can see. Let's hear from you, Emeka.
I'm sorry for the communities where this gold mining is going to be done, because they are going to be devastated. Looking at what has happened in the Niger Delta, the world is talking about going away from extractive industries, talking more about, human capital. But we are still determined to go the way of extractive industries, destroying our environment and mortgaging mortgaging future generations. We're not even talking about the effect of extracting these natural resources. We're just celebrating that gold is so and so good. It is not that Nigeria has a problem with natural resources. We have a lot of natural resources. But the issue is about management. These things are not being managed. There are so many things we have in this country that are not being managed. Ajaokuta is dead. Itakpe is dead. All these places are places that can generate trillions of naira. Dollars. Look at the Niger Delta Development Commission, said to have got 15 trillion naira since inception. Please, what will it take to fix the east-west road? What will it take to fix the various roads in the Niger Delta? But all we've heard is about, from all the actors, is about how money was spent on palliatives, all about themselves, which is the standard attribute of the typical Nigerian politician. It's all about himself or herself. It's all about them. It's nothing about the people. Some of these people, they collect money for contracts directly, and they put the money in their pocket. They don't implement those contracts. The examples are so many. And so you look at what has been happening. Then I now wonder, what is the business of the police in this matter? Akpabio made his own set of allegations. Nunia made her own set. Then the next thing, a group of policemen just landed in her house, broke down her gate, and tried to take her away by force without a warrant of arrest. Where is that done? Where is that done? And then you say the IGP monitoring squad. But the same IGP recently said
he was not
the offices of the intelligence response team, handling kidnapping and all that, and the STS, the state offices should be shut down. Now, why do you leave a team called the IGP monitoring squad, which there have been recommendations that all these squads, these squads should be disbanded for proper monitoring of the activities of policemen? But you have an IGP monitoring squad that went to somebody's house by 4 a.m. and tried to grab her. The Commissioner of Police for Rivers State is on record as saying that he was not aware. The VRO said he was not aware. Suddenly, within how many hours, the Commissioner of Police suddenly said it was the IGP. And I wonder, based on what?
Logistics.
Based on what? Based on a whimsical display of power? That's how you want to be. Is this a police state? Is this a banana republic where you just go to somebody's house by 4 a.m. and attempt to take the person away? And the Commissioner of Police is even defending that? What kind of a country is this? Listen, like Doctor said, we will not accept this season film. So Nigerians must demand a proper forensic audit of the Niger Delta Development Commission. All these theatrics should be set aside. That commission reeks of malfeasance. It is a total disaster. Okay. Like somebody said, in fact, if it's not just disbanding, I don't know, because I wonder, when you have a Ministry of Niger Delta, what is the Niger Delta Development Commission also doing again?
That identification of
you have, and which is a major problem. So many agencies that don't have anything, agencies on planting of flowers, maintenance of flowers, all kinds of agencies. If it is the ministry that will run, I know the ministry will need agencies to do its work, fine. But the issue is this: We need a national debate now. Vice President Shimbaji was calling for a national debate on the cost of governance. Let's start with the NDDC. Is it proper to keep pumping money into an agency where, that people regard as an ATM? Just go take money. You give jobs to contractors, they don't carry them out, and they are paid. Then people are more interested in collecting money for palliatives. Whereas the Niger Delta people who actually need those palliatives desperately are left out.
Now, talking about sundry items that were spent, some of the allegations there, we saw the items, according to allegation, the items he said included community relations, 1.3 billion naira, condolences, 122.9 million naira, consultancy, 83 million naira, COVID-19, 3.14 billion naira. We also have Lassa fever, 1.956 billion naira. Overseas travel, 85.6 million naira. We also have security for them, of course, because I don't think the security for the nation. Security for them, that is 744 million naira that was spent, and staffing-related payments, 8.8 billion naira. This is, and total is coming to about 81.5 billion naira that they have been asked to. But
Joy Lunia has said she spent only 8 billion. She didn't spend 81 billion.
So the rest, so if you minus
in between Akpabio, like one of my former bosses would say, in between Akpabio and Nunia lies the truth. The truth is hidden somewhere between both of them. But for me, I think all the talk about their personal interactions and whatever, nobody is interested about who slapped who, about who touched who and who did that. Listen, this is like, you can slap yourselves as much as you like. Put it to the side, but we want accounting for our money. 15 trillion naira is not a joke. Do you remember it was the same NDDC?
We're not talking million or billion.
Do you remember it was the same NDDC where a former MD was said to have put 270 million in a casket and burnt it? Have you forgotten that story?
Yeah, I remember now.
In this country, Nigerians, things develop, so we forget things. But it was NDDC. Don't forget, it was NDDC. Are we going to continue?
All right, okay. Let's look at, before I come to you, Dr. Dayakade, we also know that some ex-militants now have been complaining, of course, in the Niger Delta area, have been complaining over neglect of the federal government. Let's take a look at that report and we'll be right back.
A bad thing, you understand? It's a peace protest, as you can see. Nobody's armed here. But right now, the blockage is affecting the travelers. I'm one of it too. I'm heading to Benin, so I just saw this, and I found out the meeting was holding since yesterday, so I'm not against them.
We're supposed to move from here to, we are getting to Aba, so they blocked road here, so I don't know. So what I know that let them open the road, let us pass.
Deliberate neglect is becoming too much. We are saying at this point in time, while people are suffering, we don't want to go back to pipeline vandalization, arms carrying, stealing. So on that vein, we are appealing to the president's conscience. That's a matter of urgency. Pay all contractors so that we can go back to training.
I'm calling on the President Muhammad Buhari to appoint a new SA to oversee the affairs of the amnesty. There are many corruption going on in the office. Putting an interim committee for more than 6 months. Doing what? It's not fair. There's no training. More than 4 years, nobody has gone for training.
The truth is that we will never stop disturbing the peace of this region until, and we will do it peacefully, achieve our rights.
All right, you're welcome back. You're still on NHS Forum exclusive to Galaxy Television. Lots of things going on backstage here, but it's really not a funny matter. We see ex-militants complain now. We're talking about neglect now, and we know that these people were those who were vandalizing pipelines, and they said, okay, we don't want to vandalize again. Let's do something better. And was it talking about lots of financial misappropriations from
even in the amnesty program.
Amnesty program.
NDDC one side amnesty.
You see, we have talked so much about how much have been stolen. Who had done this? Who had done that? Look at what those guys are just saying now. if they should go back to militancy, where do we go from there? And that is to say now that insecurity in any environment, in any society, can be defined as the concomitant effect of insensitivity of the government. See how much money that have been taken to that Niger Delta area.
Yeah.
See how much money that has even gone to the north, because this Niger Delta or whatever company, there is also part of it in the north. The education of it also in the north. What have they been using that money for? Now, without even going to that area, let me go back to what we were saying behind the scene there before this program started. It is high time in this country we decide to go Obi's way. I mean, Peter Obi's way, when he was handling the kidnappers. I don't know why we need to set up unnecessary panel. I don't know why we need to set up unnecessary commission of inquiry when the facts and figures are there. Hey, Mr. Man, come. This is how much you said you have collected. But this is how much that is in the account. How can the money in the account be bigger than how much you say you have collected? That means something is fishy. All right? Explain yourself. If you cannot explain yourself, what does the Constitution say about punitive measures to people that have not been able to serve judiciously in their offices? What does the penal code say? Because by going to court, if you go to court, you say, la magu now, too much money. How much will he spend if he should go to court? He will be set free at the end of the day, and he will be enjoying his money. Yeah. But let something happen to him. Let all those money be collected back. Let his family be ostracized. Nobody will want to go to any public office in Nigeria and want to misbehave. Because we always say, Shedi is just 4 years. Let us leave them. They will go. And they will still go and come back. Nothing will happen. So not until when we start to do that. Look at the guy that was in NDDC before. The same story. Look at this one now. The same story. Let tomorrow comes, my brother. The same story. Enough of all this talking. There should be more of action now than all this. They have stolen so much money. Look at the process. No. What is the penal process now? Let us be talking about penalty for corruption. When we start talking about penalty for corruption, and those penalties are being judiciously served, appropriately served, adequately served to those erring to the norms and values of our society. But look at this. I was at the platform this morning. We were discussing about the role of youth in economic development of a nation. Tell me, which youth we want to wait again now? When they see some people out of hooliganism, they are able to attain a particular political position, and from that political position, they were able to successfully enrich themselves. So who will now, which youth will say, yes, these are the norms and values? No, they will say those are being eroded away. And why? Because the so-called leaders, not only political now, even religious, even traditional, those people that are giving their lands to Chinese people, do you understand? All of them, they are supposed to be an epitome of emulation to these growing youths. In those days, when we were growing up, we look at our principal as, yes, we want to be like him. Do you understand? We look at permanent secretaries. We look at government officials. But what do we have today? So not until when we start applying the appropriate penal code to all these skirmishes of corruption that we are having, we're going to get nowhere. Enough of talking. Let that be action now.
Okay, let's see this message here now. The president made magu above EFCC. We should build strong institutions, not strong men. That is, magu is not irreplaceable. That's Favor from K2. Thank you very much for your contribution. Yeah, the problem we Niger Deltans have is representatives. Look at what happened in Rivers State. Oh, Akpabio, I know him. That's Itoro Akpan, that's my name from Lagos State. This is Phil Arebeman again. If President cannot tell Akpabio to step aside now in the face of this oborious allegations against him, then we are all in trouble. So Akpabio, step down. Now, I want to use this medium to air my own views concerning what is going on in NDDC. Federal government should carry out a forensic audit, and whoever that has been found culpable should be prosecuted according to the law. Shame on to those who have been squandering the fund meant for Niger Delta development. That is from Mr. Isu George Will. Thank you very much for your contribution. We have another message there. Nigeria is almost irredeemable. The things that we enjoy in this country baffles me. The way we make excuses for the same criminal political elites who are pilfering the resources of this country makes me sick. The day majority of us will be angry enough, change will take place. Diokadi has talked about serious penal stuff, stiffer measures being given. Now let's look at this issue now from the Senate quickly. I'll have your view on it. Senate moves to review age limit for job seekers in Nigeria.
You see, sometimes what comes out from that Senate baffles me. Honestly speaking, I was discussing with him outside. I said, offices these days, if only we can put on the bulb on our heads, especially at that chamber there, they will know that it's becoming obsolete. All right, obsolete. I don't want to say thank God for COVID-41 or COVID-19 or whatever. You can now see a lot of people working from their houses, working from their cars. Do you understand? All I need is my phone. Yeah. All right. My letterhead paper. I was telling you, I said, come to my car. You see my letterhead paper at the back of my car. You will see the file jackets. If I quickly need to put it inside the file to deliver it, okay, you will see my barrel to sign.
You can even put things on your phone.
The issue is this. Instead of you, I was also telling some people this morning. I said, if a governor can embezzle like 20 billion. You can embezzle that 20 billion and people will still hear you. Ask me how. Out of the 20 billion, remove 5 billion. Okay, for instance, in Ekiti, where I come from, remove 5 billion. Now tell me, 1,000 youths in Ekiti, tell them to go and write proposal of what they know they can do. All right? Now, come on with a committee of maybe about 10 to look at all those proposals, fine-tune it, and this is what goes on abroad.
So they don't need to review the age limit or what?
They are not just looking at what they're supposed to do. All right? Now, all these people give that money to the bank. You go and take 1 million to prosecute your this thing. You take this, you take this, you take this. Then there are some people that will buy all those things over. For instance, maize or cassava. If you are being asked to plant cassava, 2 hectares, you know that yes, there is a ready market in me who has also been empowered to buy it. And that cassava, all I will do is I will turn it to gari and will now come up with industrial starch. Do you understand? Come up with industrial starch, biofuel, and all those pharmaceutical products which will make it to be more valuable. That means you are now making 1,000 millionaires within 1 or 2 years. Now tell me, why will people not be happy? Do you get?
So let's make the labor market favorable.
So you don't need to be looking for graduates, to go and be looking for white collar job. I was telling them, I said, this is a true life story with master's degree. After working with one man business I just look at it. This man can sack me one day. I bought a bus, a van bus in this Lagos, and I was driving it myself as a taxi driver. And I grew it up to 3 van vehicles and 1 coaster with master's degree. Do you understand? But because of what these boys, these youth are seeing these days, they know that with Gaga, how much you can fight in the garage and all that, they can make it to be this, and from there you make money. All right, money that is not sustainable, money that it doesn't have any effect on economic development of your environment. But rather than embezzling all the, just take a little bit. In Yoruba, they always say, you know when you are eating akara, you do like this. You'll be opening your nose. Now, and a small boy that you are not doing that, you will be looking at that, you are opening down your nose. But give that small boy, small from that akara you are eating, he will be looking at your nose again.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Dyer. He's talking about a favorable labor market and putting all things in place and not also...
Maybe
that is sustainable.
Diversify
the
marketplace, you know.
Because even if we have, I mean, not everybody will go into white-collar jobs.
I'm not even a government employee, but at least, whether some people are going into government jobs or all that, let it all be through a competitive process. Let it not be about age. In a way, I support what the senators are saying, talking about there should not be discrimination at all. The Constitution forbids discrimination of any type.
So once you're capable of doing the job,
yeah, there should be a competitive recruitment process, and then people can get in, right? That is people that are really needed in those sectors for policy formulation and certain other duties.
All right.
But you should make the marketplace, there should be emphasis on making the marketplace more favorable for the youths, so that the youths, can build their skills and all of that.
All right, time is fast, and I really want us to talk about this. Talking about the youths, it was so sad during the week. We saw the death of Tolulokpe Arotile. She was Nigeria's first ever female combat helicopter pilot. She has been the one spearheading lots of combats in the Northeast. We know that insurgency has really been dead in the North. Let's take a look at that report and we'll be right back. Just a quick shot clip.
4-year-old Arotile died as a result of head injuries sustained from a road traffic accident at the NAF base in Kaduna State. She was hit by a reversing vehicle by an excited former Air Force secondary school classmate while trying to greet her. While the motive for joining the military by some to wriggle out the burden of unemployment, for Tolulokpe Arotile, it was simply passion she had found from childhood. All that Tolulokpe Oluwatoyin Sarah Arotile dreamt of was to join the military and fly an aircraft. One day, when she was very small, she pointed to one small aircraft parked in the field and said, "Dad, one day I'm going to fly that aircraft." And I said, "Amen." Her father Akintunde Arotile recalled in a newspaper interview. Since that day, she did not look back. Born in 1995, the childhood yearning would become a reality September 22nd, 2012, after she was admitted into the Nigerian Defense Academy and commissioned 5 years later. An official release by the Nigerian Air Force says as of October 2019, Tolulokpe had acquired 460 hours, about 19 days, of flight within 14 months in flying a helicopter. Those hours of flying were partly spent as a squadron pilot in Operation Gamma Aki in Minna, Niger State, where she flew her quota of the anti-banditry bombardments to rid the area of terror. She made history in October 2019 when she was winged as Nigeria's first female combat helicopter pilot in the Nigerian Air Force 55 years of existence. At her decoration last October, flanked by the Chief of Air Staff Sadiq Abubakar, an Air Marshal and the Women Affairs Minister Pauline Tellin, she marched to receive her wing with such immaculate fitness and mirrored her passion for her job. Not that she had no other qualification to chase other job opportunities, as she had a degree in mathematics. But for Arotile, being in the military was all she craved. Tolulokpe, good night and rest in peace.
You're welcome back. You're still on Rita's Forum, exclusive to Gaza Television. I'm trying so hard to hold back my tears. This is someone who was so young and vibrant. She achieved so much. How many people at her age, born in 1995, could do so many remarkable things, and now her death just by a freak accident, a car accident, someone hit her and then she died? Dr. Dyer.
Let me first of all condole with the the parents of Tolulope, you know, because this is a girl they have watched growing
up
from when she had been wearing pampers to the period of wearing epaulets of a Nigeria Air Force. Not just ordinary officer, but somebody who had flown special aircraft. She fought insurgents gallantly in the air, and somebody just said he was reversing. This is what James Ali Chase called "hand me a fig leaf." If you ever read that,
of course.
Yeah.
Hand me a fig leaf. There's a serious alibi. Somebody who had fought Boko Haram, and then do you know how to reverse with what speed? With what speed?
With so much training.
Even in the barracks, when you reverse, you are reversing now. There's no speed. Even your speedometer will not lift up. So how can that one now touch such an energetic, vibrant lady, and then we fall down? Hand me a fig leaf, please.
Emeka, what's your
I think in line with proper military tradition, the matter should be investigated by a senior military officer. Should be investigated. It's difficult for me to look at her pictures because each time I just wonder why do we lose so much to the Nigerian factor? There must always be one funny story or the other. A young girl who I remember when I saw pictures, sometime last year, and I was so happy. I said, yes. We have hope for the future. All of a sudden, a freak accident. Yes, it's possible that happened.
Well, a lot of people say that this is
but the thing is this, I felt bad, President Buhari, in his message, didn't talk about investigating the matter. The Chief of Air Staff didn't talk about investigating the matter. Various governors that have spoken didn't talk about investigating the matter. Has human life become so cheap that we think, it was an accident? And you should not investigate it. There should be a proper board of inquiry. It's not just telling us that two faceless people have been arrested. Institute a proper board of inquiry to investigate the matter. Let people give a testimony so that we can give this girl the proper honor she deserves. And one other thing, she should be immortalized. She should be immortalized. She should not just go into just somewhere and then we move on to.
But she achieved a lot that short life on earth.
Of course. But I also think, it's unfortunate the way the girl's life ended. I mean, what are we trying to show younger ones? We even have the issue of brain drain. A lot of young people are losing faith in the country. And then you have this kind of a thing. It should be better managed than what they're doing. Because if not, many young Nigerians who attend it, they will run away to other countries. We've seen it happen in sports. Now, young doctors, health workers are running away.
Okay, thank you very much. Our thoughts and prayers are with the family of Tolulope Arotile. May her soul continue to rest in perfect peace. This is how we draw the curtains. Thank you very much, Emeka and Dr. Dio, to our audience. Thank you for being a part of Editors Forum. I am Rita, omodia. God bless Nigeria.